3-1 Indians lead the Brewers with 1 on and 2 men out in the 8th inning. Travis Shaw a moment ago took a called third strike, and Craig Counsell venting.
I don't blame him. There's been a few calls on the edges that have not been called and some that have been called. This is the one he didn't like. I mean, if that's called all day, I mean, I get it, but it's been inconsistent. You hate, talking about it all the time. I mean, the box right there, I mean, it kind of saves you and I from mentioning it a whole lot. You can see if an umpire misses one or not. I mean, those borderline calls sometimes are called strikes, sometimes not.
This was after Shaw took the called third strike, and as Terry Francona was making his way to the mound for a pitching change, the ejection of Craig Counsell. So if he was going to get the gate from that distance, he was going to get his money's worth. His bench coach now, Pat Murphy, running things out of the dugout.
1-2. Check swing. Did he go? No. Wow. Oh,
this girl's going to argue about something here.
Yeah, A.J. Hinch jumped out immediately. I think he thought that was a quick pitch. It's the only thing I can gather. After there was ruled a check swing, there's really nothing left to debate.
No, that's the only thing I could think of too.
Oh, and they rule it a balk, and Springer scores the go-ahead, and here comes Jeff Bannister. I don't think he's going to like this too much.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
That is really interesting. That play was over, and Hinch comes running out and talks the four-man umpiring crew into an enormous balk call here in the 9th inning.
We have to come to a set position, and we're guessing that that's what A.J. Hinch came out to argue about. The umpires got together and they ruled it a balk.
There's probably only one place Bannister can end up after this conversation, and there it is. That'll be up in the clubhouse. Second ejection of the year, and there's almost no way that he could come out and not get ejected after that one.
Let's take a look at it. Well, you can see why they called it. You have to come to a pause. The umpires ruled that there was no pause. Take a look again. When he comes down here, you have to pause, and did not look like a pause.
Huntley had to stop Rayak from going back out and saying something to Bumgarner. Now what you have to do is you have to worry that Bum doesn't get a bunch of stuff off his chest when he walks by.
I think you're going to let Bochy handle that. He's not taking him out.
And a base hit. Here comes Mac Williamson. His throw is going to be offline, and this game is tied. And now Bruce Bochy will indeed go get Bumgarner. Well, as we mentioned earlier, when Bumgarner departed, you wonder, well, what's he going to do with the home plate umpire, Jeremy Rayak, and ended up getting kicked out of the game. And in order for Rayak to save face with his other umpires, he's got to do that.
And that one hits Nimmo. He made no effort to get out of the way, and they're going to bring him back. Well, we've seen this before with Nimmo, that he doesn't make an effort to get out of the way. And Mickey Callaway is losing it. He just got tossed.
He's telling him it's because it's a curveball. The curveball's coming behind him. He can't move. You get locked in and frozen where it's coming. That's what he's talking about. It's a breaking ball. What is he supposed to do? It's coming from behind him. There's nowhere for him to go.
And now the crew chief, Gary Cederstrom, comes in to try and calm Mickey Callaway, who has been ejected from this game. And now ball 4, and now he gets aboard in a different fashion. So he's able to sprint to first after all.
3-2. And that is going to miss, according to home plate umpire Knight. So ball 4, that'll put him on at first and second, and Cora is coming out. So they walk Trumbo and Gentry. Not real happy at the moment.
I don't think he was really happy with the last call.
Right. He's been at odds with Knight.
Yes, and you can see Cora asking Leon, where was that pitch?
Chris Sale coming out with a 5-0 lead. And he is barking at the umpire.
He got thrown out. He's already out of the game.
He was hollering at Knight. And frankly, he's got a pretty good beef, I think.
I believe he does too.
Swing and a foul tip into the dirt. And Richard is headed towards the dugout here. Albie said he foul tipped it to hit the dirt. So he's going to bring Andy Green out for sure. Andy Green saying he called him out. What changed? And Joe West telling him to hit the dirt. Joe's going after Andy Green here now. And Andy Green's gone. Joe West, I think, had heard enough earlier, and then Andy said something at the end.
I think Andy brought up yesterday, you could hear Joe West saying, excuse me?
Yeah.
But here's the problem with what I see right now. Joe should be walking away right now. Instead, he's instigating this further. And that's an issue that a lot of guys in this league have, is that umpires, when they should be trying to de-escalate the situation, they are actually escalating it more.
Don't worry, I'm leaving, Joe. You can go call another call.
And we may have had Mike Moustakas thrown out of the game. He was jawing at the home plate umpire, John Tumpain. Royals have already had a tough afternoon, losing Whit Merrifield.
Where did that ball hit him? I couldn't tell.
George sink it down and in
right off
below
right
his
off
knee.
his knee.
Below his kneecap.
No, on his kneecap, and the ball bounced back to the pitcher. So hit him squarely.
Yeah.
And now Ned,
this is what we need.
Exactly.
We need this. We need to get the boys fired up a little bit. Need a couple pitches high and tight, maybe a bench clear and brawl somewhere.
I'm with you, George.
Yeah.
Well, right now, Ned Yost.
Has he been thrown yet?
Somebody got tossed in the dugout. I believe.
I have not seen Tumpain.
But we'll see. I thought he pointed over there and threw somebody out before Ned even came out.
And then Moose started yelling at him.
Yeah. Sure hope they didn't throw him out. That's why managers go out to take the. They throw them out, not my player.
It's the first ejection of the season for anyone.
You're lucky if you're born with that, but even if you're not and you have a passion, here we go. There's still some chirping going on from the Royals dugout, and Tumpain just threw out another Royal. Maybe that's Danny Duffy.
So the Royals have lost 2 this afternoon. Mike Moustakas and now Danny Duffy, as the frustration building with the Royals losing 5 straight and 11 of their last 12.
And what do we have here?
Looks like he's throwing someone out. I think he just threw somebody out.
Someone at the end of the Mets dugout. I'm not sure if it was Mickey or somebody else. And Jim Reynolds is not happy at all. I don't think it was Mickey that he threw out. It's somebody further down in the dugout. Well, apparently has been ejected.
I'm sure it's the 0-2 pitch to Goldschmidt. Probably been on him since that pitch.
That Jason Vargas apparently was the man who got run, and he gets a ticket to the clubhouse.
Yep.
Protecting his fellow rotation mate.
by getting on the home plate umpire.
If it's that easy, I might start yelling at Jim Reynolds.
Out of the zone high. This ball, oh man. Did Story elude the tag?
Why is he staying out on the baseline? Goes to reach for him.
You could go 3 feet. I don't think he's beyond 3 feet.
Beyond either.
And he just got thrown out. And you know what? Get your money's worth now.
Exactly.
I don't know how you make that call.
You don't, not from the distance where he's at.
So Mike Redmond will take over the club the rest of the way.
Up there to finish with those fingers.
Strike 3 call. The Dodger dugout is coming unglued on Trip Gibson. That includes Justin Turner standing on the dugout bench, voicing his displeasure. Dave Roberts didn't get there quite in time, but he'll get his money's worth as well. Back to Wrigley in a moment. Second one gone, and a 2-2 pitch from Wilson. Strike 3 call. Grandal's been thrown out. The 3rd Dodger thrown out today. And now Bob Guerin, who's managing the team because Dave Roberts has been tossed earlier, steps in between Grandal and Trip Gibson.
There's been a lot of frustration on the Dodger bench with borderline pitches going against them, and they have been right on a lot of them. I think Yasmani, with everything that he has witnessed as he's caught the game and then what he's seen on video with these teammates, I think it just came to a head with him right there. He's going to realize that was borderline and probably a strike.
Bottom half of the 4th inning ended this way. Blake Snell had already struck out 2 in the inning on the 0-2 pitch. Caught the inside corner for strike 3. Marwin not happy with Pat Hoberg.
Well, and it goes back to a previous AB where he struck out on a pitch down in the zone. Pat Hoberg is trying to explain it to him. Marwin explaining himself too. He's not happy with the situation. And Marwin didn't say anything right there. That's where I think the home plate umpire needs to just walk away. Instead, he hung around and waited for Marwin to throw his bat and his helmet back. And I remember a day when you were able to vent. Home plate umpires or umpires around the league would let you get it off your chest. They would explain their case, stand pat in the fact that they felt it was a strike and run you up. But you could air them out without saying a couple of key phrases and making it personal.
So now Brinson with the base hit in last night's ball game, and he gets one right in the wallet. And all the Marlins on the top step of the dugout, and both sides have been warned by the home plate umpire Andy Fletcher.
And here's Brinson, and he gets drilled. That may well be something, a carryover from last night's game.
In case you missed it, there was quite the exchange between Strickland. This is the first pitch of the at-bat. Kind of comes up and in, Strickland does on Brinson. And then later in the at-bat, the base hit, flips the bat. He's pumped up. Strickland's not happy. Apparently was jawing at Brinson when he was over at 3rd.
This is what Don Mattingly came out after Brinson was hit. He was upset that his team got warned, basically saying what every manager has ever said. He said, hey, we deserve an opportunity to retaliate. And right there at the end, I couldn't tell if Mattingly was looking at Posey or if he was looking at Andy Fletcher, the home plate umpire.
And Buster gets drilled. And that's all for Straley. Straley has been ejected, and so has Don Mattingly. And here comes Bruce Bochy out. The Bochy goes out to the home plate area and is intercepted by the crew chief. And now Bochy starts pointing and shouting at Straley. It's like Bochy wants a piece of Straley himself.
And the crew chief, last he asked, saying, "No, Bruce, move on back to the dugout." And the booing is for Straley, who just drilled Buster Posey, their favorite son here in San Francisco.
Dan Straley, Don Mattingly both ejected from this ball game, so Tim Wallach takes over as the acting manager tonight.
Escobar takes a called third strike, and he fires his bat into the dirt. Chad Fairchild, I'll bet he'll say he gave Escobar a chance, but that was a pretty short leash. And I don't know if I've seen Escobar thrown out by the home plate umpire.
Yeah, I don't
Probably
either.
has.
But we didn't hear exactly all the words that he used. Sometimes that magic word will get you tossed. And there's some frustration.
The 2-2 pitch to Pham. Inside corner and a strikeout, says Tim Timmons.
That's not the view you want to see when you come up to the plate. It's that being bright and the pitcher in the dark makes it tough.
Somebody may have just gotten tossed. And I'm sure they went back and looked at the video of the Tommy Pham at bat. And this would not be the worst thing if Mike Matheny gets thrown out. Let's see some fire, if that's indeed the case, if somebody got tossed.
Pretty sure Tommy Pham went down in there and saw how far that pitch was inside. Not happy about it.
Tim Timmons, Rob Drake, Mike Winters, Mike Mozlinski is the umpiring crew, and it looks like Tommy Pham's night is through. He's headed back to the clubhouse.
Not sure what's going on here.
What's going on here?
I don't know, but Brandon Hyde just got ejected.
Well, Contreras stepped out and he was looking in his dugout.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on.
I can understand a coach or manager griping with an umpire getting kicked out, but I wonder what Contreras, he kept stepping out.
Yeah, he's stepping out looking over to the dugout. I don't know if it was because somebody was barking in the dugout, yeah, and he was distracted, or if he was looking for a little support.
Right.
Or something he had an issue with, and I just don't know.
And now Brian Butterfield will chat with Wilson.
Nobody out here. 3-2. Double play depth in the infield. There he goes. Ball popped up, this time playable. Chris Davis will put it away. And that battle won by Darren O'Day. He's upset. And he's out of the game. Darren O'Day has been thrown out of the game. And I do not know what started that.
Jeez, he called it a balk.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, no way.
And now Buck's thrown out.
Wow.
He didn't call it. Buck is thrown out of the game.
This may be a good spot right here on an 0-2 count. If it was a high fastball, it would not have been good, and Votto doesn't like that either. He's going to be gone if he keeps that up.
Well, he is gone. Carlos Torres gave him a chance to walk away. And Votto kept talking and talking, and that is enough. He's gone after one plate appearance here today. So that's a big blow for the Reds here in trying to win the rubber game of this series, to have their best offensive player thrown out of the game in the first inning.
Ron Gardenhire right there, ejected by home plate umpire Lance Barksdale.
Well, apparently Ron Gardenhire must have said something to Lance Barksdale while Barksdale was getting those balls from the ball boy. And then I could hear him telling Lance Barksdale that those 2 pitches to Nico Goodrum both were off the plate outside, in his opinion, and you just can't argue balls and strikes up here. You just can't do it.
And Dozier spanks a single to right to the opposite field, rounding second. Rosario goes to third. So with 2 outs, the Twins put together a threat here, and there'll be 2 men aboard for Kepler.
And a nice job by Dozier right there. Nice approach. The guy who's showing him he's going to live mostly away. He just takes what he gives him, goes with the pitch. And that'll get Dozier right where he needs to be. You hit a ball like that sometimes. You asked me last night, how do you come out of it? How do you know you're coming out of a slump or whatever it is? And I said 1 swing, and for him it was that 1 swing right there. Drive the ball the other way. Now the White Sox and tomorrow's starter who's watching the game, paying attention in the clubhouse on TV, whatever it is, says, okay, he looks like he's actually making a conscious effort to hit the ball the other way. We might have to pitch him inside tomorrow. So even if you hit singles the other way, the pitcher's looking at it going, okay, now we have to pitch him inside, and that's feeding right into Dozier's plan. So when you're a one-dimensional hitter, it doesn't force the other team to. Maybe that's what they.
Trying to get, and that's a walk. The home plate umpire Pat Hoberg is calling a balk, with Shields bluffing to first and then throwing to third. And Rick Renneria is going to be tossed because you can't argue a balk.
So if he steps off, he's allowed to fake to first.
Sure he is.
That's
yes.
the rule, and he's saying that he stepped off. This is a play that he's used before. He used to be one of the guys that loved to fake third to first.
Now they're going to send Rosario back to third. Here comes Paul Molitor. And I think we're going to have our second ejection here.
And you're not allowed to come out. I think what Paul's mad about is you're not allowed to come out and argue a balk. And he came out and argued a balk, and he didn't get tossed. Now Paul gets tossed.
Throw over, and he will be picked off. Oh, they're going to charge him with a balk.
And why? I want to know why that's a balk.
Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire, is not allowed to argue a balk with Andy Green. And Angel Hernandez letting him know he can't come out. And he's about to be tossed.
There is nothing wrong with that move. From a home plate umpire standpoint, there is nothing.
This was in between innings on the right side of your screen. And did not see Andy come out, to be honest with you. I just looked down, and that's when I started to notice. Yep. Yeah, it was obviously very late in the conversation here. Bill Miller, the crew chief, coming down to assist. 5-0. The Pirates have the lead over the Padres, and Andy Green just got tossed here in between innings. I'm not exactly sure what took place. We looked down, and he was out there arguing with Angel Hernandez, and I am guessing has to do with the earlier balk call. There didn't appear to be a balk at all.
Were hit very well and really carried. Ooh, strike 3 called. Rua thought that was a little wide of the plate, but a strikeout starts the 7th inning. Jeff Bannister headed out to have a word with Joe West. Well, I think West may have thumbed him from the bench. I didn't see it, but the fans reacted. Let's take another look. Here's the strike 3 call.
Ryan didn't like the call, but it didn't look like he said anything.
And then a line drive out with no errors. That's the end of the inning. That's Riggleman and home plate umpire Eric Cooper. And here we go.
Here comes Riggleman. He's going to get his money's worth.
Riggleman is telling Cooper that he told him he wanted to intentionally walk the hitter.
And now having words with the crew chief, Gary Cedarstrom. Pat Kelly's bench coach will come out and not let it escalate anymore. Frustration brewing over here in the 10th for the Reds.
All that over an intentional walk.
Hudson in a discussion right now with first base umpire Jeff Nelson. Doesn't seem like a real buddy-buddy conversation here. And Hudson's been thrown out of the game.
I can only try to guess at how this happened. Watching Jeff Nelson come in and talk to Daniel Hudson, but my guess is that he was warning him, hey, don't do that. And Daniel might have responded with, like, I do that all the time. What's the big deal?
Well, during the break, after the pitching change, John Gibbons stopped by home plate to have a chat with home plate umpire Lance Barrett. And then Barrett threw him out. And obviously it's about the strike zone, and we had talked about the strike zone for both of these two games. Very, very tight strike zone for both teams. And CC Sabathia was thrown out for the Yankees, and now Gibbons have been thrown out for the 4th time this season.
It shows you how long Higashioka's been working for these opportunities. He takes strike 3 on the inside corner. 2 down.
Lance Barrett took his time making the call. 5 strikeouts and 5 walks for half this afternoon. Looked like a little cutter. Manley didn't really catch it as if it were a strike. Watch him bring it back up towards the zone. Yeah, that was a strike to begin with. That's enough. Somebody's gone.
Ooh. And
might be PJ.
Aaron Boone is going to walk out.
You got to be careful here.
Now, was it Boone who got tossed or someone else from the Yankee dugout?
I don't know, but that was a quick toss, because usually an umpire will say that's enough, give you sort of a warning, stay off of me. But somebody got thrown out right away.
I'm warning you right now, so you're not going to yell at me the rest of the game. That's it. Get out of here.
CC.
The ball in play, and that's a good job by Guzman as Carlos Tocci lays down a bunt. It's a good one. Michael Fulmer fields it, throws to first, and the ball is dropped, and it appears to have hit Carlos Tocci. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa will score. Ronald Guzman over to third, and now it appears that potentially Carlos Tocci may be called out, Tom, for being out of that runner's lane.
It's a nice bunt, a really nice play by Fulmer, and you can see where Carlos is. Carlos is in running on the grass. Jeff Bannister's not buying it.
Well, Jeff Bannister has just been thrown out of this ball game as he was continuing his conversation from the dugout after he had walked back in. Chris Siegel has ejected Jeff Bannister, who continues to argue, and he probably gets even more frustrated as his coaches are telling him, yeah, the replay had him in the lane at the very end. It was an errant throw by Michael Fulmer. That's the other part of this, is that throw was up the line a little bit. If the throw was inside the bag and where he probably meant to throw it, this wouldn't be happening right now.
John Gibbons came out of the dugout after the umpires converged on the mound to meet Shenwan Oh and his interpreter Eugene Koo. But Gibby was out there saying, well, wait a minute now. He's from South Korea, doesn't speak English. He needs an interpreter, and he's got to go over things with Russ Martin. But it appeared as though the umpire said, you can't be out on the mound. Well, what's the purpose of having an interpreter then, if he can't come out and help the pitcher understand what the catcher wants to do? Bill Wilkie, the crew chief, said something to Russell Martin. And Russ was like, you know what? I can speak French and I can speak English, but I can't speak South Korean. Tim Lever, the first base coach, has been ejected, and he's frustrated by what has gone on in this half inning. And he has been thrown out of the game.
Oh, man. Jansen Visconti, the plate umpire, has ejected A.J. Pollock.
Oh, man.
Vittori looking down at first base umpire Jeff Nelson, who's the crew chief. Now Nelson comes over to cool AJ down as he gets an explanation from the rookie umpire Jansen Visconti, who clearly missed that strike 3 call on AJ Pollock. That was not close.
And once again, the umpire makes a mistake and the player pays a penalty.
So AJ is ejected.
Take a look at the pitch by pitch for what it's worth. Possibly borderline right there. Foul ball out of play. No way. Not to mention the fact AJ had turned his back and was walking away when Visconti threw him out of the ball game.
Well, that's apparently when he said the magic word.
2 strikes. Barrios needs a strikeout. And he got it. Another high strike called by Will Little, 1 away.
And strikeout number 4 for Jose. Well, take a look and see what the box says. Yep, above the box.
And Ned Yost is about to be excused. Well, he is.
That's it. You knew that was coming.
Herrera was called out on a similar pitch to wrap up the 2nd inning.
Yeah, Will Little has been consistent calling that pitch up tonight. That one was maybe a little bit higher than some others, but he's been calling a high strike. It's about a month of frustration right there, not just the strike zone.
Ted Barrett gets in between, and so Ned Yost will be done for the night.
Ticket sold. And it looked like he went around, and he did. David Rackley, the home plate umpire, pointed at Chris Davis. That's the sign that the home plate umpire is calling it himself, and he said you went around.
Well, it was a slider. Not surprised that he finally went to the slider and got the check swing. It was ball 4. And let's see the top head of the bat, and Stassi pointed to first, and somebody, was Chris Davis thrown out?
Bob Melvin shooting out of the dugout. I don't know if anybody was thrown out. Somebody may have been telling David Rackley, hey, check with the first base umpire.
Did Melvin get tossed? Somebody did.
Well, Bob Melvin was quick.
1-2. Check swing. No.
Chad Whitson said he did not go.
And Chad, Adam Hammery has decided to throw out Ricky Renteria. Well, Ricky gets a big round of applause as he leaves. Sox have taken exception with Adam Hammery for a good chunk of this game.
As time passes and the weather gets a little bit warmer, so does his batting average and his home runs. That sure did hit his hands. This ball is just running in, and he can't get his hands out of the way. And out.
That's what you call a knuckle sandwich. Boone's thinking it should not be a strikeout. It should be a foul ball.
I agree. Shouldn't it be a foul ball? ball didn't go in play. But I probably don't know the rules either.
Well, that is definitely Boone's argument. Boone thinks they're wrong. He's hot.
Oh, he's getting run right here. No doubt.
Now, did Aaron Boone just say that the ball also hit a part of the bat?
I think that's probably what he's arguing.
There's not a lot of opportunities here to get ejected out of a game as a manager with replay, but he believes he's right. He stood up for his players.
And Belt goes around.
He can't believe it. Greg Gibson, the third base umpire, take a look. No, that's not a swing.
And in between innings, Brandon Belt got into it with Greg Gibson, and he was ejected.
Well, we're assuming that Pablo Sandoval is going to take over at first base, as you see the thumb. And then he throws his glove. And this is about as mad as I think I've ever seen Brandon Belt. Ortiz Hernandez and Andy McCutcheon, and then Ron Motus gets in there, and Boch gets out. Said he gave him warnings 5 times.
So Sandoval will take over at first.
Larry looked over there. He looked back. Whoever it was didn't stop. And he just ran somebody out of here.
Now Ressler is yelling at him.
And I don't know if it was Pat who was ejected, but it would appear so.
Yeah, that is Pat.
Mets hitting coach has been ejected from the game, it would appear. And down the tunnel he goes.
Rabbits. Rabbit ears.
Half swing. He went around. Strike 3. Cabrera spikes the bat. He's been ejected from the game. Third base umpire Hunter Wendelstedt called him out on the check swing. Cabrera spiked the bat, and Wendelstedt immediately threw Cabrera out of the game.
Boy, some short fuses out here today. Mets don't have a lot of players, by the way.
0-2. Rizzo takes off for third. Pitch is in the dirt, but Will Little said Baez went around, so he's out on a strikeout. And Joe Madden out of the Cubs dugout. Baez angrily flips the bat and the helmet, and now he's been ejected.
Players can't stand it when the home plate umpire makes the ruling on a swing. Their argument is you're watching the pitch. How can you see the pitch, the strike zone, and whether the bat made an attempt to hit the ball? And that's what Baez was saying. You should have checked at the first baseman. Joe Madden just got tossed for defending his player.
So he'll get his money's worth now. And we'll sort it out when we come back. It's still 1-0 Cardinals.
Strikeout, 94-mile-an-hour fastball on that outside edge.
Donnie out to talk with the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher. Not sure if even if it was a tip, it was right in the glove of Moore. He just may have been thinking it was a little low, and Donnie defending his player, perhaps. Or it was Maven getting thrown out of the game.
See, he's treating himself. It's like, wow, that was not a strike.
Things a little sideways around the strike zone so far. First K for Chacin.
I think Davey just got tossed.
Davey Martinez has been ejected. Now Kevin Long getting in on it. Short fuse from Nick Lentz. And FP, this probably goes back to some of Gio's pitches in the bottom of the first, and then
might have been Kevin Long tossed. But either way, there was a bad call to Adam Eaton on a bunt earlier. Let's check this out. At bottom of the zone, if that.
whenever you see a catcher pull it up, he's telling you he thought it was low.
Now Trey in disbelief. So Davey Martinez still in the dugout. Kevin Long evidently ejected.
And it hit him in the knees, says home plate umpire Sean Barber. Petrichka is arguing.
And now John Gibbons is letting the umpire know it, and he throws him out.
And he may get his money's worth now that he's been tossed already, Tabby.
Yeah, the arguing is about balls and strikes, and that's why there was a quick hammer.
Downstairs, check swing, throw to second. Doesn't matter. No swing. Ball 4. 2 on, nobody out for the Jays.
Well, Smoke doesn't have any speed, so if it was indeed a called strike or a swinging strike, it would have been a double play. However, it wasn't, and Ricky most unhappy about that, as is Don Cooper. We'll watch him from the side. This is why they're unhappy. They believe that was a little too far, and then the easy out at second base, it just didn't work out that way.
By the typical rule of the land, we've seen that called a swing in the past.
Yes, but not this time. It looks like Don Cooper was given the boot.
Yep, it is tonight's third base umpire Fielden Culbreth, and it looks like it's going to be both. Ricky Renteria comes out to argue, didn't like the call here in the first inning, and now he wants to ask around. Brian O'Nora coming from second base. Fielden Culbreth is leaving. So is Ricky Renteria. Goes out to defend his guys. Coop as well. And
that's it. It appears that it's going to be a very short night. And a Quinella, manager and pitching coach, it appears.